everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome to the show, LinkedIn Live today. We have Thomas Welsh, Sunil Kumar, and CS Rajiv Bajaj, who are going to be the speakers of the show today. Bringing them to the live without further ado. Hi,
Thank you, Prem.
Thomas. Hi, Rajiv. Hi, Sunil. Welcome to the show.
Thank
Hello.
you.
Hello, Prem. Thank you.
Today's topic is we're talking about the managers uh, who. This is the topic that we are going to talk. What you don't know and do will hurt you. The Rajiv, Thomas, and Sunil. Over to you.
Thank you. I think you've got the opening comments, Prem.
Yeah, a busy office. I think you folks have been thinking about pitfall. We all have been driven by our own goals, but we are aligned them with the team's vision. I fear we might be missing out some of the serious motivations by not connecting to our personal goals with our work here. Thomas, what are your thoughts on it, Thomas?
Okay, I guess the big thing we're talking about here is pitfall number one, which is what happens when you don't lay out your personal intention, your personal goals. Uh, for you personally, the individual damage is probably decreased motivation and fulfillment, due to primarily a lack of alignment between your personal and organizational goals. And for the organizational damage is decreased employee engagement and productivity, leading to missed targets and reduced profitability ultimately. Now, I've got a little story here, and it's about a client I've been working with recently who approached me for some assistance with getting their work goals and their life goals aligned. The life event that was the trigger for the change was that this individual's daughter was about to go to university in about a year's time. And they realized that where they were in their career wouldn't support them supporting their daughter in university for the years ahead. So they approached me and we began to talk. And clearly, what was missing was those life aspirations. There wasn't clarity about the increased salary that would be necessary at this stage of this person's life, and what that would mean in terms of them taking a higher level role, probably doubling their pay, and moving from a person with a job to a person providing valuable offers and valuable contribution to an organization. So we rapidly got to work on, firstly, constructing that story. Now, we did make the story and we did begin to take action, and indeed that person is now well on their way to doubling their salary and having a much more valuable, highly contributive job. Now, immediately, what we're beginning to see is the individual benefit is massively increased motivation and satisfaction just from aligning personal goals with organizational visions. And wherever they look for the higher level job, they're able to see much more value that they could deliver to deliver much more salary. And of course, from the organization's point of view, their benefit is enhanced employee commitment and productivity. Now, if they ultimately stay in their organization, it will be because their personal goals are aligned with the kind of work they would do within the organizational goals. And all that is bound to lead to improved performance by that individual for sure, and profitability. So that's pitfall number one. What happens when you don't lay out your personal intentions, your life goals? So, Prem, what's next? What's pitfall number two?
Thomas, you have hit the nail on the head. Speaking of alignment, what about pitfall 2? When was the last time we had meaningful one on ones with the team members? It's crucial for us to understand their aspirations and align them with their work. Boost morale and performance. Rajiv, what's your experience on this?
Thank you. Thank you, Prem. Actually, this pitfall is the most damaging pitfall, of all are my experiences that whenever I communicate with some business owners or entrepreneurs, they lack, this sensitivity of connecting with their team members on one-on-one basis. And what happens? It causes two kind of damages. One, of course, decreased morale and sense of purpose among the team members. So they are disillusioned which way the company is going. They are not very sure what next is coming. So if they have one-on-one discussion with the manager or the leader, they always feel very high sense of involvement, and that pride is there in working for that team. Second, it causes organizational damage, which is decreased employee retention, because if the employee is not satisfied, they will definitely leave. So if the employees are rotating and leaving, so half of your energy goes in recruiting the talent train, which has already happened. And it also leads to increased cost. I'm a finance person, so I always think in terms of costing. So it causes very high cost to the company, because the uh, talent drain which happens, it affects the smooth functioning of the organization in a way. So I think that is something which one has to look at. And also the important point is, if we are actually having one-on-one meetings with our team of people, it leads to increased sense of value and connection through personalized support and guidance. You can know what is the problem and you can solve it before it becomes bigger, because sometimes there are small issues in the organization, in the minds of people. And if we have just a small one-on-one with them, we can easily solve that. I remember, I used to work with a manager. He always used to have tendency of not only having one-on-one sessions, but he used to have a lot of team meetings also. So he was always keeping his team members engaged with the difficulties they are having, and giving instant solution. That itself is a very big support and guidance to the employees. And of course, for the organization, it is improved employee satisfaction and loyalty, because the motivated team is always very it's like a bond which they have between each other, and they can solve their issues um, uh, through those one-on-one conversations. And also it reduces the turnover, and of course the team becomes much more cohesive. So that's my experience. So I feel this pitfall is a very important pitfall. And by just managing this one-on-one meetings, you can do very well for yourself and your organization. So for any leader to be successful, I think they need to know this pitfall. And for managers also, it's equally important.
Absolutely, Rajiv. But let's not forget about the pitfall three: fostering innovation. We need to tap into the creativity of our team members and encourage them to contribute ideas that could drive our organization forward. What can you share about this, Sunil?
Thank you, Prem. Thank you. The innovation, I will say that the decades where we are, this the present time, the innovation is not required for the growth. Innovation is required for the survival. And when I talk this is on personal level. So if manager has to grow in his career, he need to be creative, he need to be innovative, he has to challenge the way things are happening, and he should be always disruptive, so that is required for the individual growth also. We all know that people are losing the job if they are not equipped, they have not learned the newest skills, because the things are changing every day and changing at very very fast pace. Similarly, organization, if the organization is not creating an environment where the managers are coming, or the team members are coming with the creative ideas, so the organization is losing the competitive advantage. And I will not stop here, not losing the competitive advantage. I will say that this is a question of survival. We are having the examples of that. That if The organization like Kodak, like Nokia, like Xerox, they were leaders in their respective field, but they have not focused on innovation. They have not focused on the future, the creativity and the future development happen in that field. And due to that, the great company Nokia, the great company Xerox, the great company Kodak, the great company BlackBerry, they are nowhere. So this is, I will always say that innovation is required not only to gain the competitive advantage but survival. And this is applicable not only for our organization, for individual also. So today's manager, today's departmental head, today's CEO, they have to keep themselves revolving, they have to keep learning. And if they will start thinking in a creative way, then only they will survive. And, and similarly, then only they will be able to take the organization at a bigger height. So if the organization will fail to do that, they will miss the boat. They will not survive. If the organization is basically support this environment, then I will say those organization excel, and that excellence comes in with that organization. And we are knowing that there are company like Tata Group. Suppose take the example of Tata Group. They have developed a strategy that every year they are having competition, annual innovation competition, and that is called Innovista. So in this competition, they basically give the opportunity to all the young managers to come with the ideas. And important point here, Prem, they're not only rewarding the most successful innovative ideas, they're also identifying the least successful but most ambitious innovation. This means they're always showing that failing is okay, but at the same time, you have to come with ideas. Coming with ideas is important. The second example I will give, that 3M. So 3M is having the similar innovative program, and they basically encourage the employee that they have to devote 15% of their time in creativity and coming with the new ideas. Similarly, Google has come with the ideas of 20% time. G has come out that every managers were tasked and they have to come up with three radical business proposal every year that could take G into new business area. So these big company are basically showing the roadmap of all the organization, and they are basically encouraging the organization that if these big company are creating that environment to expand their business, to grow in their line, to survive in their business, then why not these small businesses? So these case studies are showing only two things. Number one, if you have to survive in the business, you have to create a innovative environment. You have to take ideas from each and every employee, and you have to create that atmosphere where people can come, people can give the ideas. So this is very, very important, Prem. Over to you.
Thanks, Sunil. I think we have Cecilia from the audience coming on screen. I'm bringing up her. Cecilia, can you ask your question to the speakers? Are you there? Hello? We can't hear you, Cecilia De Silva. Okay.
Maybe we'd bring the question in as a text question, Prem, as an
Can you
alternative
post
solution.
your question on to the platform here? We will pick it up and present it here, Cecilia, if you are not able to speak. Going till we have her question on the screen. Uh, Thank you, Sunil. Following that, can we afford to ignore the pitfall 4 that we need to optimize our core processes? Engaging employees in this endeavor could streamline our operations and boost efficiency.
Okay, I'll take this one. It's Thomas
Yes.
here.
Yes.
I guess there's two big chunks here. The individual damage is if processes are not properly designed and work is not properly designed, first thing you do is burn out your employees and make them very frustrated about the inefficiencies. They put a lot of hard work in and don't get much out for lack of clear processes. And from an organizational point of view, of course, it's increased costs, it's decreased quality, and it's missed deadlines due to inefficient processes. So all of this creates a lot of damage. Now, I've got another client story here, and this was from a few years ago. And this was 4 middle managers, and their whole company had just been taken over, bought out by a competitor, and they were given an ultimatum by the board of the takeover company, who said, unless you can get this into a profitable shape in the next 2 months, we'll have to close you down because we can't afford to keep you, and we'll do the work that you used to do in our other factory. So that was quite a scary prospect for them. And the 4 of them, 3 men and 1 woman, they got together and they were the heads of sales, production. There was a kind of customer engagement and accounts. So they were the 4 managers, and they put their heads together over a 2-day. They decided to take 2 days out and have an emergency planning session, talking to as many of their staff as they could. The thing they focused on, what they realized, was they were hopelessly inefficient. Their processes didn't join together, customers couldn't make contact, they couldn't get the spares they needed when they needed to turn on their equipment at the start of their busy seasons. They couldn't speak to people when they needed help, they couldn't buy new kit when they needed it, and so on. So what they did was to sort out the whole process. And instead of having 4 different silos with 4 different sets of processes, they made one single composite process that rippled through all 4 departments. And it just made such a difference. And even within the first month, their telephone answer rate went up from just over 40% to over 90%. And any messages that were left were quickly answered by somebody else, either in the same team that was meant to be picking up the call, or another team would pick it up. And quite quickly, that answer rate was, it was 100% essentially. Now you can imagine the difference that made to their trading and profitability. It was massive. What was more interesting is 2 years later, that company became so profitable, it actually took over the company that bought it out. And they began to own the whole show, as it were. So those 4 directors did very, very well indeed. Well, they were senior managers then, but they became directors. The individual benefit for everybody was immediately reduced stress and improved job satisfaction through streamlined workflows. It just all worked better. Their customers were happier, they got better feedback, and so on. The organization got obviously enhanced productivity through the roof, massive cost savings, and massively improved profitability and customer satisfaction. So it was a great story all around. Prem, what's next?
I have a question from which is posted. I am bringing up that onto the this one screen,
Sure.
Thomas.
Yes,
Innovation
Prem.
can,
Yes,
yeah,
Prem. I have seen this question. Let me answer this question.
yeah.
So the question is regarding innovation. So innovation can do wonders. How can organization channelize these innovative ideas and ensure to follow through traction? Yeah. So first of all, thank you, Mr. D'Silva, for bringing this question, and this is very, very relevant question. Uh, I can answer this question with an example. We all know Tata Group, and we have great regards for the Tata Group. So they are having annual innovation competition, and the name of the competition is Innovista. They are having one group who basically focuses they welcome all the ideas. They go through all those ideas. They select the right ideas. They discuss them among themselves, and they ensure that whatever the good ideas are there, so that those selected ideas get allocated funds, and those team are responsible to execute that particular execute that particular project, and that brings lot of benefits to the organization. So there are various ways. How There are three component here. Number one, how to bring those ideas. So you have to create that environment. either through this fest, through competition. Company like Google, they always say that 20% time of each and every employee has to devote on the creative ideas. So they have to write, they have to give these 20% whatever they have thought. So that should be in the writing in black and white. Similarly, the company like GE, they allocate their managers, they tell their managers that you have to come with the three proposals in which we have to go. So this is the new the various ways how to give the environment to the employee when they have to come with the new ideas. And after that, there should be a team who that team is responsible to go through those ideas, pick up the right ideas, and make sure that fund is getting allocated for that ideas, and that execution should happen. So that is the way. Thank you very much. Thank you, Prem.
Can I add in something here as well? As Thomas here. Hello, Cecilia. Thanks ever so much for the question. The word that I'm going to pick up on is channelize. How do you channelize? And I think that's a really important question. And I think there's two things that really help your employees channelize ideas and make it very possible. First of all, is to have some kind of innovation management process running in the company. And this typically can be some kind of, it could be a quality council. It's the kind of devices that companies like Tata use. They have a really accessible process. If you have an idea, you know who to tell and they know what to do with it. So you need to set something up like that. And another good example is Richard Branson, who runs the Virgin Empire, Virgin Airlines, Virgin Records at one stage, Virgin Media, etc. around the world. And he calls himself, as the CEO, he calls himself Dr. Yes. So no matter what the idea, he kind of sets the tone by saying, no matter what the idea is, the answer is yes, I want to hear it. Yes, I want you to think about it some more. Yes, I want you to take a few steps with it and see if you can develop it. And yes, I want you to come back. So Dr. Yes, I think, is an important process in this too. And I just thought I'd mention those two things. And there's perhaps one other, maybe to formalize your problem solving or opportunity solving process. There are formal ones that you can use. More than happy to share one if you want one, Cecilia, or anybody else come to that. So if you fancy it, what I know is the logical problem solving process, happy to share. Okay, that's it. Thanks, Prem.
Great, Thomas and Sunil on that. Uh, we'll talk about the pitfall 5. Managers need to take a break, down silos, and maximize collaboration between departments to ensure everyone is working towards a goal. Rajiv, your experience on this?
Yeah, thank you, Prem, for that. See, pitfall 5 is again, something which affects the organization in totality because this leads to reduced trust and cooperation among the team members. They start working in silos. Everybody feels my work is more important, and what I am doing is right. And they start looking at the entire they miss out the entire picture that the company should succeed and it's not that individuals have to succeed. And also it causes a lot of organizational damage because there is lack of innovation, there is lack of communication, the communication breakdown happens, and there is a decreased overall performance. The examples are many. I can talk about Nokia. Nokia was one time the number one mobile manufacturers. There was a disconnect between the hardware and software side of these of Nokia mobile team members. So we have seen what happened to them, and the competition took over, and rest is history. We have seen the likes of BlackBerry. BlackBerry was excellent smart device, but they actually, failed to actually catch up with the competition, and the R&D team and the other team members were not in sync with the developments which were happening around them. And rest is history. They lost out to the competition which came from the likes of Apple and other big players. So we all need to understand that the whole organization has to work in sync, and you are not competing with each other. You are competing with the market. You are competing with the outside world. You are competing with the changes which are happening around you. So Codec, I think Sunil talked about. Codec team lost sight on what's going to happen to the photography industry. They kept on producing the conventional material, whereas we all moved on to mobile phones for clicking our photographs. So you have to actually see where trends are going. You have to actually see where things are moving, and the whole organization has to work in tandem, and the teams have to work with a lot of cooperation with each other. And it benefits individually also, because there's an increased sense of belonging and camaraderie through cross departmental collaboration. So you are actually always collaborating with each other. You are trying to understand what is one department's point of view, and the other one actually comes in, because the whole objective is very clear that we have to win as a team. We have to win the competition, we have to win the market, we have to win the customers. And I have worked with Japanese organizations all through. So customer is god. That's the slogan a lot of Japanese companies have. So we all need to work in tandem, and be a winner should be the attitude. And in that, the personal egos, the working in silos has to go off. And we have to make sure that there is no hindrance to the innovation, or there is no hindrance to the overall performance of the company. And we of course, the improved coordination and knowledge sharing and collective problem solving, that happens once you are working in team and working in tandem. So I think this is a very, very big and important pitfall to be known about and to be discussed in the organization openly. And I've seen many entrepreneurs and many managers, they keep on hiding. They know that there's a problem, but they don't come out openly. And that's where I think we at Regenesis encourage them and show them that okay, what are the pitfalls. And that's what we are trying to do today, to open up your mind and think about it. And once you just think about it, you know that, oh, it's happening with us also, and you can solve the problem before it becomes too big. So that's what my input on this, Prem.
Thanks, Rajiv. Agreed on that, Rajiv. But let's also focus on pitfall six: aligning our communication and actions with desired outcomes. Clear expectations and accountability are key. Sunil, your take on it, Sunil?
Yeah, thank you, Prem. I think again the communication is one of the important things. If organization is great, they're an innovative team, creative team. You are having great product. You are providing good service, but still, if the communication from top to down is not clear, everybody is not aware what role they have to play, and what exactly their deliverables are. So that creates a lot of confusion within the organization. And there are a lot of examples when due to communication, organization has failed. The team are unable to deliver in spite of the fact that they're a very good team, they're having capabilities, they're innovative, they're working very hard, but they fail due to this miscommunication. So it is the role of managers to communicate each and every employee what are their deliverables are and how to do it. I think if you're not communicating properly, there are three things happening. Number one, individuals level, there if even if people are working very hard, they're unable to deliver the result, and at the same time, if they are not very happy, management is not very happy. So there is a lot of confusion among in the individuals, and they lost the direction, and a lot of the lack of coordination due to bad communication, lack of coordination within the team members. So overall the happiness index goes down. So the communication is very, very important, and here the role of manager, the role of top people is very, very important. So how to do it? we all know that in any organization we basically decide that these are the deliverables what we have to achieve. So the top manager has to break that in different department level. So the KRA of each and every employee should be very very clear. And what type of KRA? That KRA must be a smart. So there should be a specific, measurable, this that is achievable, and that should be transparent. Because if the KRA is transparent, if it is measurable, if it is achievable, then you know where you are, and then individual is knowing at what stage we are, and if we are unable to miss this target, what exactly we have to do. So you have to support the employee also in that case. So any organization where the communication is very clear, the KRA is very clear, deliverables are very clear, that in that organization individuals are very happy, they deliver the good results, and at the same time organization always, always have the competitive edge at marketplace, because this means improved efficiency, the alignment of the goal, and they win the trust of all the employees. So this is very very important. An important thing is that individual member of the team, they feel motivated, because if in personal life also, if you have achieved something, we feel very happy about it. But at the same time, if we are unable to understand what is the deliverables, what we have to do, and we are working very hard, and we haven't got the result, we don't know what exactly we have to achieve, and we haven't got the result, the at end of the day we feel very sorry about it. So clarity, what exactly the manager has to deliver, is very very important. The roles of manager is very very important, and that creates an environment within the organization when individual are moral of individual are very high, and organizational performance is very very, I will say that organizational moves at a faster pace.
We
Yes.
have another question from Selina
Yeah.
Piselva here again. I'm bringing it. Good communication system is like a two-way traffic. How organization can make it robust and watertight is the
Yeah,
question.
yeah, yeah. I think this is a very good question, Mr. D'Silva. Again, once again, thank you very much for bringing this question. So, communication is, of course, there is a two-way traffic, but I personally feel that this when you are communicating something down the line, so it is the responsibility of the communicator who is communicating. So it is not the receiver's fault. It is basically the person who is communicating. He is communicating coming to the level of receiver or not, that is very very important. So when, as a manager, I am communicating something to my team member, then it is my responsibility that the person to whom I am communicating, he has received in the same way or not. If he has received in the same way, then we have to ask, from their side, that what exactly you have to do. You please explain. And if that clarity is there, then it helps the managers to help the individual also when they have got a stuck. So how to do it? I think we have discussed a lot of pitfall here. So one-to-one meeting is very very important. Team meeting is very very important. But but to ensure that this communication has in perfect direction or not, that deliverables should be very very clear for the individuals. So what individual has to deliver, what department has to deliver, and then what organization has to deliver. And for two-way communication, it is very very important that it should be, time to time there should be team meeting, one-to-one meetings should happen, so that you know at what stage they are, how to handhold him.
Thanks, Rajiv. Sunil,
Yeah, very well said.
well said on that, Sunil sir. Building on to that, pitfall 7, it is crucial to identify and eliminate unnecessary activities that drain resources and hinder productivity. We cannot afford to overlook. Again, can we come to you on this, Sunil?
Yeah, that's right. Prem, again, it is very, very important aspect, and I will say it is very, very crucial pitfall. When there are times when we are working very hard, but we are not getting the result. But why it is so? It is so because we are not identifying the key areas, the key focus area where our focus should be more. There's a principle called 80-20. So whatever you do, if you will write all those things, then you will find that 20% work what you have done, that is going to give you 80% result. And 80% work, 80% time, whatever you have devoted, that is only going to give you only 20% result. So identifying those 20s are very, very important, which you have to focus so that you can get 80% result. So if you know, there are a lot of examples from the college days to working day. So there are same individual passed out from the same college to two friends or four friends or five friends, same MBA college, having the same degree, read in the same theory and entered in the same organization. Some become CEO. Some is basically struggling in the career. So what is the difference? This person who go up, they know that where they have to focus their energy. They eliminate all the hindrance coming in between. They are not focusing on those job which is going to on all those activity which is going to give him only 20% result. So identification of those 20s where your focus should be, that is very, very important. So I'm a firm believer of 80-20. And I always, when I talk to the people, when I talk to the the business owner, to managers, I always stress on this, that you will be successful if you will be able to identify your 20s. So if you are able to identify your 20s, then you will succeed. One of the one of the difference to that person who excel, who and the person who is basically not excelling in his life or struggling in his career, that is, he is basically knowing that where they have to put his energy, what is their 80s and what is their 20s. So once the person is knowing what is their 20s, their focus is very, very clear. They're able they're able to work on that, and they're putting the energy in right direction. So and if you are not knowing that, so there is a frustration, there are excessive workload, there is inefficiency. And if organizational point of view, if we'll see, so there is a decrease in profitability, resource misallocation, there is a diminishing competitiveness. But if you have created an environment, if you have understood that where you have to focus, then at individual level you are very happy, reduce stress, your work life balance is good, and you have a streamline the operation. And I will say, at the end of the day, you are the happy person which is required in this life. For organizational point of view, the profitability of organization increases, resource optimization happens, so you need less resource to give more output. You improve your productivity. So these are the important things. When you identify that what are the hindrance, what are the things coming which you have to eliminate unnecessary activity in your working. So if you have identified those unnecessary activity, eliminated those, then performance will improve, both at individual level as well as corporate level. Over to you, Prem.
Thank you, Sunil. Absolutely. So on to the pitfall 8, where we need to invest in developing skills and capabilities organizations will need for future, right? It's about staying ahead of the curve. Rajiv, this has been a resonance with last week's live cast. Your opinion?
Thank you, Prem, for this. And yes, we talked about it in our last week discussion as well. See, when you are not getting the your skill is not getting developed, or your organization is not pap- pampering you up more and giving you more of capability enhancement opportunities, you are bound to face two kind of very important situations. One, you feel stagnant, you feel undervalued, and you feel that there is no opportunity to grow and develop. So that whatever we have discussed today, that leads to multiple issues. People leave the organization, people actually become very discouraged, and they feel there is no opportunity for them to grow. And for organization, it causes skill gaps because some people are intelligent, some new breed which comes in, they become they are coming from the college, or they are coming from the university, fresh ideas in their mind. But the people who are still working with the organization for 20 years or 25 years, they they are feeling, oh, I'm not able to catch up with them. So I think skill enhancement is very important. So it leads to skill gaps and inability to adapt to the changing market demands. And of course, there's lack of agility which happens. I have been working with the consumer electronic industry. I know so many companies. I don't want to name them because most of them are friends. Uh, they were not able to visualize the changes which are happening in the consumer electronic industry. They were not able to visualize what kind of changes in the taste and preferences of people. And they were not actually investing on R&D. They were not investing on the skill development of their people. And the result was that huge corporations having thousands of dollars of business, they suddenly became bankrupt. So that kind of a situation we have seen in airline industry also. In India, the examples are Kingfisher, Jet Airways. I remember when Kingfisher Airlines were launched, uh, uh, we all used to feel, oh, well, let me travel by Kingfisher because they have best of the services. We had Vijay Malia coming in on the screen and things like that. But later on, they were not able to keep pace with the demands or the expectations of the customer, because they didn't train their people, or they didn't invest on the skill development, they didn't invest on the fleet enhancement, they didn't invest on the other enhancements which were required by an airline. Same story happened with Jet Airways. So I think we all need to understand that skill development is the most important aspect for any organization. And it not only enhances the capability of the individuals who are working for the company, it enhances the capability of the organization per se. So everybody goes up. So I remember the quote of Mr. Narayana Murthy. He said, I always have people who are more intelligent than me in my team, because they pushed me up. So that's the attitude organization should have. You should always be looking for how to develop this skill, not only of your people but your own skill as well. You should actually try and get into more training exercises, more such capability enhancement exercises in the organization. So what it does is it does personal and professional growth opportunity, and leading to increased job satisfaction and career enhanced advancement for the people. They feel empowered, they feel happy that okay, they have achieved something. And if you are having really good skill, then you automatically become a good candidate for the next enhancement at the time of a review and annual review or whatever. And if you are performing, why not? The organization always try to give you that kind of respect and advancement. And of course, the organization benefit is, of course, the enhanced workforce readiness and innovation. They are always thinking of how to make the organization successful. They are always working towards that goal. So I think it's worth a salt. And for executive coaches like us, we always talk about to the HR team members that the skill enhancement and capability enhancement is something you should invest on. And that is where I think the change can happen. And that's what Regenesis is all about: how to actually enhance the skill of your managers so that they can have another window open and think beyond the boundaries. So I think this is a very important uh, pitfall, as well as something to be looked at by every leader and a manager, so that this doesn't happen to their company. Prem.
Absolutely, Rajiv. Thank you for that. Uh, Lastly, let's ensure that pitfall 9, the cultural and functional behaviors within teams, are aligned to create a respective and cohesive organization. This is vital for maintaining morale and productivity. Thomas, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Prem. This, of course, brings together all the strands that we've been discussing today. And if you don't have a cohesive organizational culture, it's possible for the organization to more or less tear itself apart, or at the very least, stop it from ever growing and becoming all that it's capable of being, either of which I think are utterly devastating. The individual damage is living with and living in increased conflict and disengagement due to lack of cohesion and respect within teams and between teams. And for the organization, it means, well, the great resignation, high turnover rates, damaged reputation, hindered organizational growth, loss of profits, well, I think it's a devastating set of circumstances that arises. An anecdote I'd like to use to illustrate actually is not from a commercial company. This is from a local authority that I happen to know about, and again was a client at one stage. They were a local authority in an alpine village in a very forested area that was very prone to forest fires. They had a really highly respected fire service. They had firemen locally. Not only did they have fire engines, but because it was forested, they had helicopters as well. So they also had a heliport. It was 100 meters from the fire station, so firemen could easily run with kits or with themselves or with their clothes from one place to the other and take whatever action they needed. So that was the fire service. They were part managed, they were half managed by the local authority and half by their own fire service kind of department of government. But it was locally that the thing really began to emerge, because the local authority, the local government, decided, without consulting the firemen, they would build their heliport outside the village because they thought it was noisy and they thought the village people wouldn't like it. So they built it nearly, a couple of kilometers away, maybe, or if you're in Imperial, a mile or so away. So it's quite a long way. But they built this lovely new heliport. And guess what? When it was all finished, the firemen refused to move. And the reason they refused to move is it was too far. They couldn't run from their fire station, which is where all their equipment was, to the heliport in time, because the launch time for the helicopter was typically less than 3 minutes. They just couldn't even begin to match that. And if they were slow, the fire would be double or triple or 10 times worse by the time they got there. So it was really crucial. So that was a really good example of different parts of the same organization attempting to work for the same people, so same customers, which was the villagers. They weren't operating from the same value set. The one lot were, let's put out the fires, and the other lot were, let's get re-elected. And so their view was, let's take the noise out of the village, let's take all the mess out of the village and put it outside town. But it's not what the villagers wanted. The firemen were so respected, they were even kind of they were given a special service in the local place of worship. So it was, they were held in really high esteem because of their bravery. So I guess what I'm trying to illustrate here is the individual benefit is a much more positive work environment. The firemen deserved to be and needed to be held in strong esteem. They had a strong team, they had great dynamics, and they had a definite sense of belonging to the village. If that isn't honoured at an organisational level, then the benefit, or if it is honoured at an organisational level, then what you get is increased employee retention and much higher levels of collaboration and enhanced organisational culture. And that is what you need to really grow into all your organisation, whether it's a public service or whether it's a commercial organization, you're able to grow into all that you're capable of being. And that is essentially, as Rajiv and Sunil, thank you both, have both been trying to describe some of the key components that we contain within the Regenesis program. And what we're finding now is that people are more and more finding it, if they want to pivot in their career as an individual manager or an executive, and they want to lift it to the next level, or maybe they want to go on to a higher level of salary or a higher level of contribution, they're joining now monthly. Each month we have a single briefing program. So you can attend our group briefings if you want, or if you want, you can come to an individual group, have individual briefing as one-to-one if you're more of an organizational owner. But people are finding it really valuable that once a month we try and focus them on a really key area that they need for the health of their organization. And what we've been trying to highlight today is, for sure, if you don't do some of these key things, we might think, oh, it's just that I'm not doing them. It doesn't really matter, it's just that I'm not doing that type of thing. But definitely, for sure, what you don't know and what you don't do will hurt you, and it will hurt your organization, even if it's to limit all that you can become. And we think, the three of us think, that that's a devastating consequence. So before we move on, I just wanted to let you know that that is possible. You can book in with us if that's of interest to you. Do book into a group session or book a one-to-one session for yourself and your team. We can do both of those things. And you can, as I say, we do that each month, so you know exactly where you are in the meta process of things. And what we find is if people pay attention to these things, they typically get an extra 1 or 2% or more per month to their bottom lines. And obviously, over a year, that's 12 to 20% more across all the bottom lines over a year. And over a decade, of course, that's doubling the size of your organization, doubling the potential, doubling the service, whatever way you want to look at that, because that's a 120 to 240% improvement in your bottom lines. We think this really matters. So let's stop there. Any further questions from our audience, Prem?
No, I not got any other questions on that, Thomas.
Okay.
With
Okay.
this, we would like to. It was a great discussion that we had. We would like to conclude the session with the speakers and the audience reflecting on important addressing pitfalls in their managerial approach, recognizing the positive impact of both individuals and organization as a whole. Uh, Thank you for being part of the show. With this, we would conclude the show. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.